Are we on?
Yeah, we are.
All right.
I'm just
Good morning. My name is Wanda Blakely. I'm the assistant principal for Choctaw County High School, and I am sitting here with Miss Stephanie Turner, who is in the instructional leadership program at UWA, University of West Alabama. This year, I am serving as her mentor, and we're going to take this opportunity to go over several standards as applicable for completion. And we are going to start with the first standard and allow Ms. Turner to elaborate on how planning for continuous improvement has been addressed while she's been employed here at Choctaw County High School. So we're going to start with the first one, Ms. Turner, and that is planning for continuous improvement. Please elaborate on the things that you have been implementing, involved in while you've been here this school year that falls up under that particular standard.
Well, since being on Choctaw County High School staff, I am currently a member on our continuous improvement planning team. I served this year as our EL coordinator, and I think I also have the role of professional development. Yeah, over the professional development component as well. And as a member on the team, my job is to, of course, help to develop goals and activities that address our cultural and curricular needs, from classroom management procedures, or from there to, of course, PD plans, as well as and basically just any resources that the teachers may need to meet our standards and objectives for their content areas.
Okay. And one thing I do want to throw in that you didn't mention is your mega workshops.
Yes.
Because planning for continuous improvement, that definitely falls up under that category. So would you like to elaborate on any of the conferences that you attended at the mega conference? Any workshops, excuse me, that you attended?
I did do a technology training where they focused on using, let's see, like the Google platform, like Google Classroom, as well as using Google Docs and PowerPoint, Google Slides to create PowerPoint presentation, and we also used, what's that game? I did do a gaming workshop where we used games and apps on iPads, and as well as games that they can use on their phones to help teach them math content, especially in my area. I did also go to NASA content training where I was given a whole list of links and other resources for not just mathematics but also science, which I forwarded right to a math and science department. It was a lot of stuff, but it was also some good training. And I also attended the ATT Work Keys training, as well as the Scantron Achievement Series training as well.
Okay. Well, I know one thing that you mentioned is the technology.
Yes.
And since you mentioned that,
We'll go ahead and do
we're
it.
going to go on and attack that standard. So we're going to not go in sequential order. So since you mentioned technology, elaborate a little more on that particular standard, and then we'll go back.
Like I said before, we utilize Google a lot on campus, not just for our email operating system, but we use it as a support for our students in our classroom. I know for certain in my contact area, I use Google Classroom and Google Docs, and I also created assessments that my students can use in the Google platform by using Google Forms, and teachers, they can use it for pre and post tests as well. And I've also created a lesson plan where the students are creating their own websites. And I know it's kind of tough, especially with mathematics, but it came out to be successful, which I did forward the information to the other math teachers in the department, as well as one of the science teachers as well. And using Wix and Weebly to create, digital products that the students can use to demonstrate their learning instead of just the basic pencil and paper test. So I'm trying to bridge the gap and ease them into creating more portfolio type products to assess the students instead of just your basic pencil and paper test.
Awesome. And, you know, when we talk about technology, we talk about such a large area. You know, it's so broad. So again, not going in sequential order, I'm going to skip to the next standard, being community and stakeholder relationship, because I know under that particular standard we use, or you use, technology for that also. So if you don't mind, share what technology that you use for community and stakeholder relationship, along with any other things that you can share for that particular standard.
Well, I actually created our school's Facebook page that we use to communicate with the parents and the community. So I'm the administrator over that page. And I also would like to create a website just for resources for parents, and a newsletter that's digital, that can be constantly updated, because some parents, they may not check they might not check Facebook, but they will, check an email, or if somebody has a website that they will go to, they can just click and go to it. And also, what I also do I am, like I said before, parental involvement. I've been the parental involvement chairperson before on the CIP team. So I've been working closely with the newer person that's been elected to let them know, okay, we have a Facebook page, and we also use the Facebook page as data tracking to see how many people have been, who's been looking at the page, and it's easily accessible. Parents have been posting to our Facebook page. So if they go to an event and they see students there, they'll tag us and they'll post, and if any community events, the parents have been using that page to even do community events. So the school, we know what's going on within our community as well.
Okay, awesome. Facebook, I know, is a very valuable resource for this school. You, other teachers, other administrators, including myself, use Facebook faithfully. So that was a great move on your part to create that Facebook page for our school. Standard number 4, we're going to talk about teaching and learning. So under teaching and learning, please elaborate a little bit about the implementation that you have employed for this standard while you was in the program this year so far.
As the active EL coordinator, I've been learning a lot of instructional strategies that can be used to not only aid students where English is their second language, but students that are also struggling, and definitely been working on collaborating more, not only with my other staff members, but with our special education teachers. And right now I'm currently planning a turnaround training from my last Samuel 2 training, and we've learned more strategies, especially in my content area, which is mathematics. And it really talked about, making visual representations of everything, and utilizing those learning targets and creating visuals for your students to better understand the content, not just your English language learners, but also your struggling students as well. And also other strategies that have been employed that I've noticed that we've been using across the board: small group instruction and peer-to-peer teaching. I've learned those things at training, and I've been sharing the information with my other staff members. And I've noticed that on the side of the campus that I reside, I'm noticing when I walk through during planning that some of the teachers are actually utilizing some of those strategies. Learning targets, small grouping. So that turnaround training has been really coming in handy for the other staff members with the teaching and learning.
Okay, awesome. We have 2 more standards that we need to address. The next standard we're going to talk about is human resources and development. So give us a briefing on that particular standard and its relationship with your internship.
Well, as far as the human resources part, I also sit on the interview panel at the school, which is benefit of being on the leadership team. You're basically involved in every aspect of the school culture. So I've served on the interview panel, have interviewed with any new staff. I've seen them, we've interviewed. So that's been very important, especially when our culture here is so delicate. You're trying to help with choosing people that are best fit for our culture, but also they're going to bring in, new teaching strategies, innovation to help pull us into the 21st century with learning. So definitely with that, and also being a part of the CIP team, we also help to determine what professional development activities our teachers are going to do for the year. So I always collect the input of the different teachers in the department. What do you need this year? Of course, we look at the Speak Up surveys and technology surveys that the teachers submit. We look at all of that information, and then we take what the teachers have said in their surveys, and then we say, okay, we need more technology professional developments. So let's find a technology professional development to the teachers to attend. And so just even if it's lesson planning, classroom management, technology, I'm a part of every aspect of that.
Okay, awesome. The last one. Management of the learning organization.
Okay, so this year I've had the joy of facilitating with the discipline portion of the after school detention program, which is really has been an eye-opening experience to me because I never really knew what all occurred during the after school detention. And so after being a part of it, I was figuring, okay, how can we make this better? Not just them sitting there an extra hour just to take over the time for, for whatever offense occurred, but how can we do this to help our students? So I suggested to the administrator, okay, so why don't they bring some, bring some activities that maybe they need to help with, as well as, use it as some type of tutoring session for them, let them catch up with some of their work. And also I've learned from my assistant principal the process for the after school, not after school, the alternative placement program, the process that it takes, where the parent and student have to be interviewed. There's an interview process, and then of course they have to sign forms, let them know what the student will be doing and how the parent has to make sure that student is brought to school every single day. They're not allowed to ride the school bus during the alternative setting program, and before, when they finish their time, they have to go through an exit process as well, where they have to not only meet with the assistant principal, but they also have to use the counseling services as well before they're re-entered into the general population. So I love the alternative setting program because it's like a full rehabilitation program for the student. They're separated for time, but then we have to get to the root of, okay, what led you to this point, and let's create strategies to keep you from repeating this pattern. So it's really more of a help to the student as well as to the teachers as well, because the students, they won't lose any work in comparison to a suspension. The students are allowed to do all of their assignments, and the teachers are allowed to go into the alternative setting and help the student if they're struggling. I myself have been down there to help some of the students as well.
Okay. Well, that is all 6 standards that you've addressed. Thank you very much. Do you have any more input for this video? If not, then this is the conclusion. And thank you again for allowing me to be your mentor.
Thank you.
And you are doing an awesome job.
Well, thank you. You've been an excellent mentor.